Beautiful 58-degree afternoon in Orchard Park. Getting set for the opening kickoff. First downstairs to Laura Oatman. Laura.
Kenny, Tyrod Taylor studies Aaron Rodgers. Not surprising. But along with his play, Tyrod said he learned just as much from how Aaron didn't play, saying for 4 years, my dad and I talked a lot about how hard Aaron worked while waiting his turn. It's now Tyrod's turn. And Giants defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who coached in Baltimore, isn't surprised, saying, quote, he was the best athlete on the field. Kenny?
Thanks, Laura. Tyrod Taylor waited his turn in Baltimore. Backed up Joe Flacco for 4 seasons, won a Super Bowl ring, off to a terrific start here in Buffalo.
That's a bold statement. There's a lot of talent out on that practice field in Baltimore when Tyrod Taylor was there. So for Steve Spagnuolo to be able to say that he was by far the most talented guy there that's impressive.
The Giants have won the toss, elected to defer, so Josh Brown will get things started. Percy Harvin and Marcus Thigpen are back deep for the Bills. Harvin waiting, and he will take it out. Harvin tripped up at the 16-yard line by Jaron Hosley, whose teammate at Virginia Tech leads the Buffalo Bills onto the field. Tyrod Taylor has completed 74% of his passes. First Bills quarterback with at least 7 passing touchdowns and a 70% completion percentage over his first 3 games since the great Jim Kelly.
That's all you got to have in that stat is you're doing something that only Jim Kelly's done before for this franchise.
Bills without a couple of key cogs on offense. No LaShawn McCoy, no Sammy Watkins. The rookie Carlos Williams in the backfield takes the handoff from Taylor. And he's bottled up, no gain on first down.
It'll be important to have a nice mix here during the course of the afternoon. This offensive line playing well. Richie Incognito having a good season for the Buffalo Bills right now. But the guy I'm going to be watching today, Percy Harvin. You heard them talk in the pregame show about this Buffalo Bills offense, the most explosive plays in the NFL with Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy not in the lineup. A lot of that falls to Percy Harvin.
3 wide receivers set. On 2nd and 10, Taylor on the slant. Harvin unable to hang
on. Definitely not one of the ways you want to start the game when you want to be one of the featured guys for the big plays, and it's one of the things that Buffalo has done well, staying ahead of those chains. And can they do it again against this defense? Big up front, big at all 3 levels really on the defense, but in my opinion the key is John Beeson. He's the glue that holds this defense together. Missed the first 2 games, getting his feet back underneath him here.
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie past the concussion protocol. 3rd down and 10. Bills must get to the 26. This is the tight end, Charles Clay. And he's tackled by Devontre Moore. 3 yards shy of a first down, so the Bills go 3 and out and will punt it away.
Well, Charles Clay is going to be a matchup problem. They've got him all the way outside. That's Prince Amukamara, the corner in coverage. At some point, Charles Clay needed to turn and square those shoulders and go upfield.
Colton Schmidt out to punt for the Bills. The ex-Cowboy Dwayne Harris is back deep for the Giants. Harris will let it bounce. Takes the Giants roll up to the 36-yard line. So good field position for Eli Manning and the Giants offense.
Talking about career wins, yeah, but really for me the most important thing, one of the reasons he's going to have an opportunity to tie that record of Phil Simms here today is the fact that Eli Manning has not thrown an interception yet this season. In the 2nd year of Ben McAdoo's offense, he's really taking that next step, really understands everything they're trying to accomplish.
Fans on their feet here in Buffalo. This is Rashad Jennings on first down out to the 38-yard line. 8 of 2. Jerry Hughes made the tackle. We'll look at the Giants' offensive line.
Well, that offensive line of concern coming into camp. They're playing well, but they've got to take that next step. And the key in the Giants' offense is going to be the men who just carried that ball Rashad Jennings. They're going to have balance today. They can't come out and throw the ball all afternoon against that Buffalo Bills front.
Now the left tackle, Eric Flowers, out for the first play, has left the field. John Jerry comes in along with Justin Pugh on the left side, and Manning's pass broken up by Stephon Gilmore, the right corner, and there is a flag.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Shane Vereen, a running back, but he's going to be spread all across the formation. You see him all the way out to the top of the screen, working that slant route. And Stephon Gilmore trying to time it up, and the referee's opinion felt he got there a little bit early.
Shane Vereen in the backfield. First and 10 from the 46-yard line following the penalty. As Manning's pass is caught by the tight end Larry Donnell. And he leans forward into Bills territory to the Buffalo 48 for a gain of 6.
I like the play call right there by Eli Manning, changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Buffalo with those linebackers stepped up in the A-gaps, gets the ball out on the edge quick.
Second down and 4. Manning going down the line, changing the play, looks back at Vereen. And a give to Vereen on second down. And the expatriate works his way to the Bills' 45-yard line. Marcel Darius made the stop. It will be third down and 1.
Yeah, kind of an interesting set right there. You had Jerry Hughes inside and Kyle Williams outside to that left. Eli Manning elects to go with a running play with those big defensive linemen standing in a two-point stance.
Three receivers set on third down. Throw to the outside is caught by Odell Beckham Jr., his first reception today. It's a Giants first down.
Well, Stephon Gilmore from time to time will match an opponent. And we'll see if this plays out the rest of the day today, where he draws Odell Beckham Jr. for the entire afternoon. It'll be interesting because Rex Ryan very high on Ronald Darby, the rookie corner on the other side.
Rashad Jennings shifts into the backfield. Now Manning signaling for Beckham to split wide left. And on first down, it is Beckham to the Buffalo 30 for a gain of 7.
Well, this Bills defensive front has got tremendous players all the way across the board up front, but the one that I think really changes it is Jerry Hughes. He's such a tough matchup problem now with Eric Flowers out at that left tackle spot. What do the New York Giants do there from a protection standpoint to help out against his speed off the edge?
Flowers in for just the first play, went to the sideline, slammed his helmet. Not play last week due to the ankle injury. Again, the play clock winding down. On second and 2, Manning floats one up, and Beckham unable to make the catch.
This is going to be fun to watch all afternoon because, by the way this play is called by the officials, they're going to allow them to be very physical on the outside. Watch the hand checking here. Nobody doing anything that would draw an offensive or defensive pass interference call.
Giants quickly to the line.
And they will do this on third down to keep the Bills from substituting.
Manning drops into the shotgun. Third down and 2. First possession of the game for the Giants. And on third down, the pass is broken up by Nigel Bradham.
Center Weston Richburg an opportunity to get a free set of downs right there. They had, I think, Jerry Hughes in the neutral zone. He just got to snap that ball at that time, allows him to reset. They stay with the play. Good coverage by Nigel Bradham on Larry Donnell.
So here's Josh Brown. He's perfect this season. 9 for 9. He's hit 13 in a row dating back to last year. A 47-yard attempt from the left hash. Brad Wing places it down, and Brown's kick is straight through. So the Giants take a 3-0 lead here at Orchard Park.
Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your airfare now at southwest.com.
Tom Coughlin, native of Waterloo, New York, about 2.5 hours from Buffalo. Across the way, no stranger to the fans in New York and the Giants. Giants and Jets would meet every preseason. Played in the regular season back in 2011. Short kick by Brown, taken at the 20-yard line by Thigpen. Setting up good field position for the Bills. Mark Herzlich made the stop on special teams. When we return, Tyrod Taylor and the Bills offense.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
3-0 lead for the Giants. Tyrod Taylor and the Bills start from their 35-yard line. 3 tight ends set. On first down, this is Carlos Williams, the rookie out of Florida State, native 7.
Really impressed by Carlos Williams. He's a big physical runner, and he's got surprising speed for that size. It's going to be important for the Giants to get players around him. You can't allow him that type of play right there. He's able to square his shoulders and get that speed and mass moving quickly.
Rush for over 100 yards last week in the win over Miami. On second and short, it's Williams, and this time he is meant for a loss as we head to Los Angeles. Landon Collins, the tackle. Game break, Kurt Menefee.
All right, Tampa Bay has had the ball twice on offense, and they've turned over both times. This one, a pick 6 from Josh Norman off the hands of Jameis Winston. 46 yards later, it's 10-0 early in the first quarter. Kenny Musalora.
Next, Kurt. Carolina Panthers off to a 3-0 start, one of 7 unbeaten teams. Bills into the backfield, third down and 3. Ballard to the outside. And a nice tackle made by Devon Kennard. So the Bills, for the second consecutive possession, go 3 and out.
A 3 and out with a pass play on third down that's completed short of the first down markers, but really no opportunity for Charles Clay to run after the catch. That's great by Devon Kennard getting up there, making that tackle. We saw in the previous one, he was running laterally, just not the opportunity to get your shoulders turned downfield to get that first down.
Smith punting for the second time. Harris back deep. Again angled towards the sideline. And it takes a Bills bounce. Rolls out of bounds inside the 5. Terrific placement by Schmidt.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. By DraftKings. Free 1-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com. And by Visa Checkout. The easier way to pay online. Sign up now.
Now you talk about head coach quarterback combinations. Brady and Belichick 210 starts. Burrito and Shula 184. For Manning and Coughlin today, 171 of the regular season. Terry Bradshaw, of course, played during the days of the 14-game schedule at 158.
Yeah, that's some pretty impressive company to be included in Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin right there on that list.
They've won a pair of Super Bowls together. Start from the 4-yard line. Andre Williams in the backfield, running behind the fullback, Nikita Whitlock, right into the arms of Bradham.
That is really, really well done by this Bills defense. Look at that straight through. There's Mario Williams. Nigel Bradham gets through clean. That is 2 yards deep in the offensive backfield, and the running back has absolutely no chance.
Now Rashad Jennings in the backfield. Second down at 11. Manning set up in the end zone. Looking to throw. Catch is made, but not much. It's Jennings. And he is tackled by the reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Preston Brown.
Eli Manning feeling a little bit of pressure coming from his right. Mario Williams kind of driving Marshall Newhouse back into that pocket. The This will be the cat and mouse game at the line of scrimmage all day long between this offense and defense.
Manning from the end zone on third down and 8. There is a flag in the end zone. Pass intended for Odell Beckham Jr.
False start. Number 84 of the offense. After this is the goal, third down.
That's on the tight end, Larry Donnell. Remember, the Giants lost their left tackle, Eric Flowers, after the first play. Re-aggravated his ankle injury, so they shuffled the offensive line, and it's the tight end, Donnell, who moves early.
Yeah, he's just not set. Eli Manning is changing the call, and he's not getting it, so he's actually turned around, so he's not set before that ball is snapped. So again, the crowd noise here in this stadium backed up. They know they can make it very difficult on the offense of the opposition.
Giants must get to the 15 for a first down. This is Beckham, and he is tackled at the 11 by the rookie out of Florida State, second-round pick, Ronald Darby. So the Giants pinned by Schmidt on the 52-yard punt and roll, a penalty, and now they will punt it away.
And you're trying to get that ball out into space to Odell Beckham Jr. Ronald Darby, a nice job, because if he doesn't make that tackle, not only the first down, but some yardage after that as well.
Brad Wing set up in his end zone, thick pen deep for the Bills. Terrific field position for Tyrod Taylor and the Bills. A 40-yard punt by Wing. Greg Roman, Bills offensive coordinator, spent the last 4 seasons working under Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, reunited with Rex Ryan. They were together in Baltimore.
And Rex has wanted him in the past. Timing hasn't worked out. This is going to be a fun series to watch. He does a tremendous job with his personnel. He's aggressive in his play call. Doesn't like to function in the red zone offensively. Let's see if he takes a shot from outside the red zone.
From the Giants 48 on first down, this is Williams. Turns the corner. And Carlos Williams takes it all the way to the Giants' 37-yard line for the Bills. First down today.
And here's some of that athleticism for the big back right here, Carlos Williams. Look at the feet on the sideline. Tight, tight, tight. Look, he kept his toe up. Might have gone out there. They've got the spot down there at the 32-yard line, but not. We talked about his speed, but that was some great footwork along the sideline.
On first down, off the play fake to Williams. Taylor loading to his right. He throws and is unable to make the connection with the tight end, Charles Clay, as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, the Falcons have had to come back in all 3 of their victories so far. Now they've jumped out to a lead. Devontae Freeman, 16-yard score. They're up 7-0 at home in the first quarter over to Houston. Kenny Moose and Laura.
All right, thanks, Kurt. The Falcons, like the Panthers, 3-0, tied atop the NFC South. Steve Pagnuolo in his return to the Giants. The defensive coordinator, second down and 10. Fullback Felton joins Williams on the delay. This is Williams. And he works his way down to the 33-yard line. So it will be third down and 6.
And when you've got a guy like Carlos Williams in the backfield, you can be aggressive on your first down play call. And Greg Roman wanted a shot down the field. The Giants did a nice job covering that. Well, you can just turn around and hand the ball off to the big guy and still keep you in that manageable third down situation.
There's the ex-Eagle, LaShawn McCoy, who remains out. 3-time Pro Bowler. Third down and 6. Taylor throws, and it's off the hands of Robert Woods. Prince Amukamara on the coverage for the Giants.
And when you've got the speed and the athleticism at the quarterback spot, you know, what is his mentality? And for Tyrod Taylor, he wants to throw the ball from the pocket. You can see right there a little reset to buy a little bit of time. And a little bit behind right there allows Prince Amukamara to get in and make a play on the ball.
So here's Dan Carpenter out to attempt a 51-yard field goal, which would match his season long. From the left hash, placed down by Schmidt. And Carpenter's kick is good. So the Bills, after going 3 and out on their first 2 drives, get a short field and tie the game at 3. Four and a half to play, first quarter at Orchard Park. Bills pick up their first out of the game. And Dan Carpenter ties the game, connecting from 51 yards out. Bills the only team to carry 3 kickers. Carpenter, the punter Schmidt, and this is Jordan Gay, the kickoff specialist. Harris will not take it out, so Eli Manning and the Giants will start from their 20. Giants pinned deep in their own territory on their last possession. Manning has started the game 5 for 7. Of course, no Victor Cruz early in the week. It sounded like he would make his return. Has not played since last October, but unfortunately suffered a setback in practice.
Yeah, we're hoping to have Victor here. I think everybody's waiting to see what this wide receiver core would be able to do, but also on the defensive side of the ball, defensive tackle Marcus Kuhn, Robert Ayers, their best edge rusher. And as you pointed out, Eric Flowers out after that first play, shuffling that offensive line against a tough Bills front.
Williams in the backfield. First and 10 from the 20-yard line, and this is Williams. Gain of 3 on first down, taken down by Preston Brown.
You look at the matchups that these teams have had, the Bills with the New England Patriots, the Giants with Dallas and Atlanta, Julio Jones show, you can see why this could kind of get skewed a little bit. But still, what we have seen, it's not because they were defending the pass a lot early in the season. They are good run defenses.
Bills sent 3 of their defensive linemen to the Pro Bowl last season. They finished 9 and 7 under Doug Marrone, missed the playoffs. Manning to the outside, of the catch is made by Ruben Randall for a first down, and Moore takes it out to the 44-yard line, gain of 22.
Working against Stephon Gilmore. At the top of the screen, it said back shoulder fade. If the corner gets on top and he stride for stride, there's an adjustment between quarterback and wide receiver that I'm going to throw that back shoulder fade.
Release on first down, and the catch is made by Dwayne Harris, who broke free, and there's a flag thrown at the end of the play after Harris picked up a first down into Bills territory.
New York Giants picked up Dwayne Harris as for his special teams expertise, but he's a pretty good wide receiver as well. He is tough with the football in his hands after the catch.
Pass interference, offense, number 34, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see the timing because it's thrown short to Dwayne Harris. I thought Shane Vereen was running around and just recognized the fact that the ball was caught. I think sometimes it's the design of the play where we're going to get that block and it's all based on the timing. This looked like the timing was good. I thought it was just Shane Vereen making that adjustment on the quick throw to Dwayne Harris and trying to help his teammate out down the field.
Darrell Eric Flowers back in the game at left tackle for the Giants. Following the penalty, first and 20 from the 34.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Back-to-back penalties, offensive pass interference, and a delay of game. The crowd certainly has had an effect here in the first quarter. Quick out to Ruben Randall, but right there to wrap him up is Darby.
It's a good play by Ronald Darby because when they're trying to get that quick screen on the outside, if you react quickly, you take away the blocking angles for the players in that screen element.
Loss of 2, second down and 27. Manning floats one up, and it's behind the intended receiver, Odell Beckham Jr.
You like getting over there, trying to get with Odell Beckham Jr. right away. We saw them work that well with Ruben Randall on that side. They were out of sync on that last one.
Giants must get to the Buffalo 46 for a first down. Over the top, it's the tight end, Donnell. Brown of the tackle, Giants send out the punting unit.
Now, a real difficult series for that Giants offense there. You get the negative play to start, follow it up with a delay of game penalty after a down where you already had a penalty assessed. So they were not in sync offensively in and out of the huddle and to the line of scrimmage at all on that entire series.
Marcus Thigpen back deep, the Aussie, Brad Wing. Punting from his 24-yard line. Terrific kick. Thigpen backpedals all the way to the 12. And great coverage downfield. There is a flag. Mark Herzlich on the special teams tackle.
Yeah, big improvement by the Giants special teams, especially in the coverage element. We talked about Dwayne Harris, Mark Herzlich, Jonathan Casillas. This is a very, very good coverage group.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 15. Penalty is half the distance. First down.
So a 55-yard punt, and Chris Hogan is the guilty Bill, so Rex Ryan's offense will be forced back even further.
That's a great job with the penalty. Look at the flipping of the field by the Giants in that situation. The Bills potentially hoping to get some decent field position right there. They're going to start this drive just outside their 5-yard line.
Bills with only one first down. They went 3 and out on their first 2 possessions. Short field, kicked a field goal on their last drive. And they now start from the 6. Taylor looking for the tight end, Clay, and he makes the catch. And then it came out of his hands, and it's taken away. Devon Kennard.
Ruling on the field is an interception. First down.
So Kennard takes it away from Clay.
Trying to really feature Charles Clay in this game. It looks like he's got it. And as they go to the ground, he loses possession. They rule interception, so it's a turnover, so it will be reviewed to see if Devon Kennard stayed in bounds as he wrestled that ball away. And I don't think it's dual possession because I don't think Charles Clay actually possessed the ball as he was going to the ground.
All turnovers are reviewed. So John Hussey awaiting word from upstairs. First career pick for Kennard. And the play will stand as called on the field. And the Bills turn the ball over, and the Giants take over at the Buffalo 32. Beckham shifts into the backfield. Manning on first down over the middle, it's Harris. And Dwayne Harris has a Giants first down to the Buffalo 21, a gain of 11.
A great pickup by the Giants in the offseason. Returner, cover guy, but he can work that slot. He's good on those fast screens on the outside, getting him on the edge. So a pretty good receiver for this Giants offense as well.
Jennings in the backfield, set up to the right of Manning. From the 21 on first down, Manning fires, it's Harris, and Dwayne Harris takes it in for a Giants touchdown.
got Randall and Odell Beckham on the outsides, and you go to sleep. Oh, that guy's just a special teams guy. He's a cover guy, returner. I don't got to worry about him. Pass him on to the next level. He's got a good feel in the secondary, and he is tough as nails. Bakari Rambo, a very physical safety. You know you're going to take a shot right here. Does a great job. Look how strong he is at the point of the catch.
For Harris, his first touchdown since the 2013 season. Remember what Tom Coughlin told us yesterday? He said, we already have scored 31 points off takeaways. We've never had that here. And the Giants do it again following the Kennard interception.
Yeah, it's taking advantage of how your team's functioning. I think we're all still trying to figure out as we watch the NFL through the first 4 games, what's the identity of the team. And the Giants are doing some different things this year that they haven't done in the past.
Here's Josh Brown for the 33-yard extra point. Giants have not yet gone for 2. And the snap gets away from Wing, but the play is blown dead. Penalty flags were thrown.
This goes against the Bills. You wonder if Tom Coughlin will take that down at the 1-yard line. He talked about kind of staying traditional with the rule change.
Prior to the snap, full start, left guard, 5-yard penalty, try over.
And you saw players from both sides running after the football. Remember, the defense can return in a situation like that and score 2 points of their own.
He is so meticulous in his preparation, wants perfection in every single phase, every single play. He's not going to be happy about that snap.
So this will become a 38-yard extra point attempt, and it is off the right upright. Oh, you've seen it throughout the league, Darrell. They've gone to the 33-yard extra point. In this case, 38. And Brown unable to connect.
It has been a huge difference maker so far this season. The number of misses that we've had one every single week when we've done the games, and it really shifts now the thought process of what you're going to do moving forward.
We had 2 last week in Tampa Bay, Houston.
Well, we had one of the worst kicking days we've ever been a part of last week in the Houston-Tampa Bay game.
Right, 4 missed field goals and 2 missed extra points. You see the numbers through week 3, 13 missed extra point attempts, matching the number from each of the last 2 seasons combined on the shorter extra point attempts.
Oh, it's one of the points that you make each week when we have our meetings. You talk to the coaches about what their thought process is in that situation right there. I really like Rex Ryan and the way he talked. He was not happy about them making the move. He just, hey, you know, I'm great. The kickers are doing a great job. You know, congratulations to them. I don't think we should penalize somebody for being very, very good at what they do. He wanted it to stay where it was.
Rex also said, hey, what about bringing the uprights in?
Well, I think if you do that, now you've changed the entire record book in the NFL because you're kicking against a different set of goalposts with distances. So now everything's going to have an asterisk after it as we move forward with kicking records. So I'm kind of on the Rex Ryan boat on this one. You know, good for the kickers that they've made it that way. So it's made it interesting, though, as the season has gone on. We'll have great decisions as we get into the latter part of the season with some weather situations.
Especially here.
Yeah.
Percy Harvin. Harvin stops shy of the 20. Jonathan Casillas, who you mentioned moments ago. Tyrod Taylor out of Virginia Tech. Drafted by the Ravens. Spent 4 years in Baltimore behind Joe Flacco. And seized the opportunity. Here in Buffalo, Rex Ryan told us he won the job outright. He outperformed everybody, and that means Matt Castle is now in Dallas. C.J. Manuel, who is backing up Taylor. Taylor making his 4th NFL start. First and 10 from the 20. Taylor escapes pressure and then throws it away. Got away from Kerry Wynn and then fired out of bounds. It will be 2nd and 10.
Colin Jenkins down rubbing that knee. Didn't get an opportunity to see what happened there, but the injury bug this year, not just in our game here this afternoon with some of the big names that are out, but really league-wide. It's been a tough start to the NFL season this year.
So Jenkins down, and for the Bills, their left tackle, Cordy Glenn, out with an ankle injury. His return is questionable. Jenkins injured on the last play. And for the Bills, Cyrus Kouandjio now in at left tackle for Cordy Glenn. 11 seconds remaining in the first quarter here in Orchard Park. Giants leading the Bills 9-3.
Talked about those injuries around the NFL. The Buffalo Bills, boy, talk about Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy, your two big playmakers. John Miller's been doing a nice job in there on the inside at guard, and Aaron Williams still not quite back yet from that scary injury he had early in the year. Rex Ryan hoping to have him back next week.
Taylor handing off to Carlos Williams. Out to the 24-yard line for a gain of 4 as time winds down and the first quarter comes to an end here in Orchard Park. Giants capitalizing on an interception. Giants lead the Bills 9-3 after 1. Slow start for Tyrod Taylor and the Bills offense today. Look what he's done over the first 3 weeks. Bills facing a 3rd down and 6 as we begin the second quarter. Movement prior to the snap.
Full start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that's Cyrus Kouandjio, who replaced Cordy Glenn moments ago at left tackle.
You saw that slow start here by the Bills in the first quarter today. The last 2 games, they were talking about it this week. Their opening drive of the game, very, very well. And both of those games had great drives to start. So another addition to that sluggish play here in the first quarter.
Right, they scored opening drive touchdowns in each of their last 2 games. 3rd down and 11 following the false start as Taylor's pass gets batted down at the line. It is Devon Kennard who had the interception earlier, which led to the Giants' touchdown.
He's playing a heck of a game. Had a big tackle on a 3rd down on Charles Clay in that second series. So Devon Kennard off to a great start this afternoon. Working in the middle, can't get there home, get close, get that hand up. Close those throwing lanes down.
His father, Derek, a former teammate of yours.
Absolutely.
With the Dallas Cowboys. Derek Kennard spent 11 seasons in the NFL. Smith punting from his 8-yard line. What a kick. Forcing Harris all the way back to the 25. And he is met immediately downfield by the special teams star, Marcus Easley. 57-yard punt to Los Angeles for a game break with Mike Hill. Mike.
All right, guys, Falcons trying to stay undefeated, looking good against the Texans. So is Devontae Freeman doing it again, his 2nd touchdown of the game, 5th in his last 2 games, 14-0 in the second. Kenny Moose, back to you.
Well, I tell you what, Devontae Freeman now, when you've got Julio Jones on the outside, that is a tough offense to defend right now.
Terrific start for the Falcons under new head coach Dan Quinn. That's Nikita Whitlock motioning into the backfield. Giants also have sent in Bobby Hart, a rookie of Florida State, as an extra blocker, number 68, on the right side. From the 24-yard line on 1st down, finding a hole is Andre Williams, and he gains 9, close to a Giants' 1st down.
Just kind of buckle the chin strap type of offense right here. Nikita Whitlock leads in on the linebacker there. Andre Williams finding his way through that hole. That was a physical personnel group, and they just ran it downhill into that Bills front.
Giants leave Hart in as the extra blocker on the right side of the line. 2nd down and 1. Williams and Whitlock in the backfield. Again, it is Williams. And Andre Williams picks up the Giants' 1st down out to the 38-yard line, wrapped up and brought down by Preston Brown. Of course, back in the 70s, it was Bob McAdoo leading the way for the Buffalo Braves in the NBA. This is the Giants' offensive coordinator in his 2nd season, Ben McAdoo.
Yeah, and we tried to draw some comparisons to that Green Bay Packer offense, where he came from and what Aaron Rodgers is doing, with the interceptions and everything. And he told us it's about completions, but we do have to stay balanced. We have to have that run element in our offense this afternoon.
This set of downs for the Giants as Williams is unable to hang on. Covered by Bradham.
And one of the real interesting things we had a chance to do the Giants last year during this transition is the footwork of Eli Manning, and it's much different in Ben McAdoo's offense. You can see the set, the reset, that helps with the timing that goes on. And he had a great quote about Eli where he said, he's so smart knowing where his progression is going to open. If he knew number 3 was going to be open, sometimes his footwork was off because he wanted to get there too quick.
Eli handing it off to Jennings, who finds a hole and picks up a first down. Rashad Jennings to the Bills 47, and now a late flag is thrown.
Follow Jerry Hughes all the way through. This is where the penalty flag came from at the
After
end.
the play, personal foul, number 55 on the defense. That penalty being enforced from the end of the run. First down.
The Bills, Darryl, lead the league in most personal fouls committed. Over the first 3 weeks, they committed 11. This is number 12.
Football is an emotional game, and you have to play it that style, but you have to be smart. And the Bills have been their own worst enemies at times, especially that New England Patriot game. A ton of personal fouls in that one.
First and 10 from the Bills 33. Jennings in the backfield. Donnell shifts to the left side. Manning handing it off to Rashad Jennings. And he gains 5 to the 28. Branham makes the tackle.
And right now on this series, Ben McAdoo has kind of shifted gears. We saw the quick passing game to start against this tough Bills front. And now you're just kind of lining up in the big physical personnel groups and kind of getting downhill against the speed of the edges and the big guys inside.
Beckham split wide to the left. Second down and 5. Giants keep it on the ground again. Their 5th run in 6 plays on this drive. And Jennings takes it to the 25-yard line, so it will be 3rd down and 2. Giants again quickly to the line. On 3rd down.
Yeah, Eli does not want to allow them to get set and have time at the line of scrimmage on 3rd down.
Manning on 3rd down fires, but it's behind Beckham. Giants send out the field goal unit.
Now you can see the frustration right there with Eli Manning. He and Odell Beckham Jr. have not been in sync on this adjusted route on the outside. Stephon Gilmore is on the top. He's running parallel. You can see the safety help coming from the inside as Corey Graham moves over. And Eli wants that adjustment done quicker, and they haven't been in sync the last 2 times they've tried it.
So here's Brown. He connected from 47, then he missed a 38-yard extra point. This will be a 44-yard attempt. There is a flag. Brown's kick from 44 is good, but we will check in with the referee, John Hussey. And now the Giants will send the offense back onto the field. Remember, it was 4th down and 2.
Illegal formation, defense, covering up the center. That penalty is a 5-yard penalty, which results in a first down.
And one of the rules with player safety, centers are now actually protected. You cannot line up definitely on top of the center. You really can't even line up on his shoulders. You have to make that move back in after the ball is snapped. That's a huge miscue by the Buffalo Bills.
That rule put in place a couple of years back. So a break for the Giants. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Williams in the backfield. Beckham slot to the left. Manning on 1st down to the tight end, Donnell. Not much. Met by 3 Bills, Brown, Branham, and Graham.
Trying to throw the ball short. This offense is about completions and getting into a rhythm. But I tell you what, the Bills are doing a heck of a job with their pursuit to the football.
9th play of the drive coming up. Giants have picked up 9 first downs in the game. The Bills just 1. Manning on 2nd and 10. He fires. to the end zone. So the Giants now facing a 3rd and 10, and there is a late flag. It's against Buffalo.
Before the pass, holding, defense, number 28, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's against Darby. So again, the Giants pick up a first down thanks to a Buffalo penalty.
This has just been a terrible series by the Buffalo Bills. Right now, you had the personal foul on Jerry Hughes early in this. You had the illegal formation lining up on top of the center. Now you've got Ronald Darby with a penalty that gives them another first down.
3 penalties for 25 yards committed by the Bills on this Giants drive. And on first down, it's complete to Harris. Wayne Harris gains 5 to the Buffalo 11. Giants in the red zone this season, Darryl, only 3 touchdowns and 11 trips inside the 20. Perine in the backfield, 2nd down and 5 from the 11. The receiver set, Beckham split wide to the right. Manning on 2nd down on the slant. It's Ruben Randle who takes it in for a Giants touchdown.
Well, concern from Giants fans with Victor Cruz not making it back to the lineup. What's going to happen at our wide receiver position? We can't rely on Odell Beckham Jr. the entire afternoon. How about Dwayne Harris and now Ruben Randle here this afternoon? Soft coverage. Stephon Gilmore allows the inside release on the slant.
Randle's 2nd touchdown of the season. He had a big day against the Redskins last week. Second touchdown pass of the first half for Eli Manning. Bills committing 3 penalties for 25 yards on the drive. And now it is Brown who missed from straight away on the 38-yard extra point attempt. Now from the left hash from 33. It is good, extending the Giants' lead to 16-3. Giants get a reprieve thanks to the penalties, and Manning connects with Ruben Randle.
This game on Fox is sponsored by the all-new Fiat 500X crossover, by Burger King, kick off fall with a new Oreo pumpkin spice shake, and by T-Mobile. Switch to the Data Strong network.
Giants out to a 16-3 lead over the Bills. Manning hitting Randle for the last Giants touchdown. Giants taking advantage of a turnover and then 3 penalties committed by the Bills on that last drive. Here's Thigpen. And Thigpen is met just shy of the 20. It's J-Ron Mosley again. Tom Coughlin returns to upstate New York, happy with what he has seen so far. Early second quarter, Bills offense back on the field. A look at Tyrod Taylor's day.
Been a little bit sluggish. Started off negatively in the drop. He had a couple passes thrown short, an opportunity for a play there. Just has not been able to get into that rhythm. A turnover there. Great play by Devon Kennard on the shot down the sideline, but not the offense we saw the fourth quarter of the Patriot game or all week last week against the Dolphins.
This is Williams. Taylor looking around for a flag as he took a hit after handing the ball off from George Selvey.
Now remember, if the quarterback is still deemed a runner, if he rode Carlos Williams, or you've got the threat of the reverse coming around with Chris Hogan.
The runner handing the ball off.
Exactly.
2nd down.
You've got Chris Hogan coming around. That could be a potential thing. So whether it's the back coming up the field, now you've got reverse coming around. He doesn't know that. He's got his hand out like he's going to fake part of that play action at the end. So he is still a runner at that time.
And that is exactly what referee John Hussey explained as well. 2nd down and 6. Here's Williams. Williams met initially by Jonathan Hankins. It will be 3rd down and 4.
Greg Roman was right about this Giants front. So there's big bodies all through that front, defensive line, linebacker level, even back into the secondary. It was going to be hard for us to get that running game going.
Bills have not converted on 3rd down today. They are 0 for 4. They've picked up only 1 first down in the game. Bills must get to the 30 for a first. As Taylor is unable to make the connection with Robert Woods, and the Bills again go 3 and out.
And this is a play that they've hit through the first 3 games of the year. You get that trips formation to the one side, and now you've got one-on-one on the backside. And they are letting them play physically on the outside. They are allowing all that hand checking. Tyrod Taylor wants pass interference, but that's the second example that we've seen today where this crew is going to let them be physical on the outside in one-on-one situations.
And Taylor just 2 for 9. Schmidt punting from his 15-yard line. There is a flag. Punt taken at the 22 by Harris. Return out to the 25.
Well, we got the hat off, so somebody's out of bounds.
Number 27 of the kicking team went out of bounds during the kick. That is a 5-yard penalty that will be enforced from the dead ball spot. First down.
Well, the Giants take over leading by 13.
On Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
Giants have scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. A little salsa from Ruben Randall, and in honor of his good friend and injured teammate Victor Cruz.
Not bad, not bad. A little bit of improvement. He needs to get with Victor. Maybe he can get him some lessons there. But that was a big question mark coming in here with just Odell Beckham Jr. and the breakout season that he's had last year carried on into this year. Well, who's going to help out? And a big day by Ruben Randall last week gets you that confidence. Dwayne Harris has really stepped up.
Giants with only 4 wide receivers in uniform. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. This is Andre Williams running hard, takes it out to the 39-yard line for a gain of 9.
Now really just kind of getting downhill against this Buffalo Bill front right now. A lot of success with that on the last possession. You know, when you've got that very quick, athletic, and then strong in the middle, that interior, that style of defense, you can't be throwing the football all afternoon long. And it was a great drive last time by the Giants. That offensive line up front, they really just decided we're going to be real physical and run it right down their throats.
2nd down and 1. Manning looking to throw on 2nd down. He fires downfield. It's just out of the reach of Randall.
That's nice, though. You still got that big personnel and little play action, little fake. Let's take a shot down the field. Let's see how well Ronald Darby is playing today. That's a good job getting out of his back pedal. You can see why Rex Ryan is so high on him. That's great coverage on the outside. Giants
send in tight end Will Tye, number 45, activated from their practice squad yesterday out of Stony Brook. 3rd down and 1. Here's Williams, and he has a Giants first down. Andre Williams out to the 45-yard line. He needed 1, and he gained 6.
This game started out with Eli Manning and a lot of changes at the line of scrimmage, trying to get into the right passing play, but you can see that shift. They've really kind of leaned on that running game now, really helped them control the flow of the game.
Remember, coming into this game, it's the Bills who lead the league in rushing at over 150 yards on the ground per game over the first 3. Here's Williams, and He spins for a short gain. Met initially by Marcell Dareus.
We've got a couple of real special guys inside the last few weeks. Marcell Dareus is one of those guys. He's that good inside. Very difficult to block in the running game. Great pressure in the pocket, collapsing that from the inside in the pass game.
Beckham split out to the left. Second down and 9. Manning looking his way. Gilmore on the coverage, so a 3rd and 9 coming up for the Giants.
Well, when you have the start to an NFL career like Odell Beckham Jr. has had, you're going to get a lot of attention. That's a great break on the ball by Stephon Gilmore.
3rd down and 9. Giants must get to the Bills 45 for a first. Manning hands it off on 3rd down. This is for Reed. So the Giants not looking to throw on 3rd down, and they send out the punting unit.
They talked about Marcell Dareus, and his teammate right next to him is Kyle Williams. He'll be in on the bottom of that. There's Justin Pugh without the helmet down in the mix. It's going to get nasty down there on the inside.
Usually does. Here's Brad Wing. Bunting for the 3rd time today. Their catch is called for, and Big Ben had trouble with it. So the Bills pinned inside their 10-yard line. Second quarter at Orchard Park. Giants by 13. Get back to Super Bowl 25. There's Scott Norwood. Giants win it 20-19 over the Bills.
Come on, Kenny, you met a lot of Bills fans this weekend up here. You really going to do that to them?
I'm sorry.
Money!
Giants fans certainly enjoy seeing that, as does Tom Coughlin. He was the Giants wide receivers coach during that 1990 season before heading off to take over at Boston College.
The first Super Bowl that they went to, and they went 4 consecutive years, I've always wondered, and I think a lot of people will, what would have happened if that field goal goes through? What does that Bills team go on to achieve?
Of course, you were...
I've made my amends. I made my amends on the other two. No, we don't need to get into that.
Catch is made by Chris Hogan, who's a native of northern New Jersey, out of Ramapo High School. We tie it all together. That's where Phil Simms' son, Chris, played his high school football. Hogan was a lacrosse player for 4 years at Penn State. Played 1 season of football at Monmouth College in New Jersey, doing a nice job for the Bills.
Well, this is a critical snap right here for the Bills, because in their possessions today, 3 3-and-outs, the one where they had the turnover, they have not been able to get into rhythm. This is a critical 3rd down snap right here for this offense.
Bills have not converted on 3rd down today. Taylor with time throws. There is a flag. Catch is made by the tight end Clay.
Now remember, we've talked about the officials allowing them to be physical on the outside. Now that's hand checking side to side. Nobody's gaining an advantage. Let's see what happens here with Charles Clay. Let's see if he shoves.
Offense, number 85. Penalties half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
And you see the flag thrown by the head linesman Wayne Mackey. That is the 8th Buffalo penalty. Bills with more penalty yards than yards on offense.
And that camera angle, it didn't look like there was a whole lot there. Rex Ryan's not happy. It's been a tough day. His team has just committed some very, very punitive penalties here.
55 yards in penalties, only 48 yards of offense. Taylor from the end zone. And the catch is made out at the 20-yard line by Percy Harvin for the 2nd Bills first down today.
It's a nice bounce back throw by Tyrod Taylor right there to Percy Harvin. Again, we talked about it at the top. This is an explosive offense, but there is no LaShawn McCoy, and he hasn't been healthy this season. Sammy Watkins is down with that calf. He's been struggling through the course of the season. Yeah, Percy Harvin has to be the guy that picks up those big plays for those two guys.
Harvin's first catch of the game. Buffalo's second first down. From the 20 on first down, it's Carlos Williams. Up the middle for a gain of 2. Time for another game break to Los Angeles. And Mike Hill. Mike.
All right, guys, the Eagles' issues continue, taking on the Skins. Kirk Cousins fumbles on his goal line, but recovers and scores into the end zone. 13-0 Skins at the half. Kenny Moose, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Remember the Redskins coming off a loss to the Giants on a Thursday night. So both Washington and the Giants have had some extra time to prepare. Second time the Bills are facing an opponent coming off a Thursday game the previous week. It's Taylor. Taylor out to the 24, picks up 2, third down and 6.
Big point of emphasis for the Giants starting all the way back in OTAs in the spring was the zone read scheme, and it all starts with the quarterback, number 5. Is the quarterback, does he have the ability to hurt you? Can he be the guy that makes the big play? And that was a nice job on that by Owa Odigizua. I know you wanted to say it first, but I'm going to beat you to the punch on that one.
Outstanding. Making his NFL debut. Missed the first 3 with a foot issue. Third down and 6. Taylor's pass is caught by Hogan. Good second effort, but he's short. And now it looks like the Giants will use a timeout. Stop the clock with 2:35 remaining as they will get the ball back.
Good job rallying to the tackle right there. Pockets collapse, and you can see he stays in that pocket. We saw the athletic ability. He can do the zone read. Rex Ryan says he's the fastest quarterback in the NFL, yet he stays in that pocket. He delivers the ball.
2:35 remaining, second quarter, down to the field, and Laura open. Laura.
Continuing that conversation on Tyrod, I actually talked to his mentor, Michael Vick, and asked what he thinks about these first 3 games. He said, I want to caution everyone, including Tyrod, who he loves, not to be defined by 3 games, to really wait and see who he is. But Percy Harvin said where he knew who he was after that New England fourth quarter. Said, I walked into that locker room smiling, even though we lost, because I saw a guy who didn't quit and didn't flinch. We want that in a quarterback.
Thanks, Laura. Michael Vick and Tyrod Taylor grew up in the same area in Virginia. Both attended Virginia Tech, played for Frank Beamer. Their catch called for by Harris, so the Giants get the ball back with 2:26 remaining. Well, the Bills and the ECMC Foundation, along with the American Cancer Society, came together to host the 10th annual Believe event in downtown Buffalo Friday as part of the NFL's month-long initiative to raise money and awareness for breast cancer research. Learn more about A Crucial Catch Day on October 13th. Find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. So Tom Coughlin uses a timeout to give his offense some more time prior to the 2-minute warning. Remember, the Giants will also get the ball first following halftime. This is Vereen. And Vereen zigzags out to the 34-yard line. Giants with a 16-3 lead. They've scored touchdowns on 2 of their last 3 possessions. A look at Manning's numbers. Touchdown passes to Harris and Randall. This time Harris unable to make the catch.
And then he takes a big hit in the ribs after that. See where his hands are. See if he knows this is coming. He kind of hands his hands a different way. See a whole lot there at the end.
That's Makari Rambo who made the hit on Harris. Giants, we mentioned, down to 4 wide receivers. They released Preston Parker prior to their last game. No Victor Cruz, going with Beckham, Randall, Harris, and the rookie out of Connecticut, Jeremy Davis. And they're also without 2 tight ends today, Daniel Fells and Jerome Cunningham.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. That really kind of changes up what you're going to do from a personnel and a formation standpoint. And, you know, Dwayne Harris has come in and is off to a good start. We'll see it again here at the end. Just wonder if he got kind of that knee in the small of the back. But he has stepped up today. You mentioned how they are thin there, but you know, just from a play calling standpoint for Ben McAdoo, you know, he doesn't make excuses. He's not worried about things. He goes, we'll have 11 out there. We'll figure it out. We'll work through it. You know, but you've seen how effective they've been since late in the first quarter through the second quarter running the football. Well, that's your big tight end set. You know, you've got Nikita Whitlock back there with a fullback trying to do that. So he's done a nice job with the challenges in personnel because of these injuries.
And remember, Harris also the return man for the Giants. 3rd down and 5. Follow play prior to the 2-minute warning. Giants must get to the 39 for a first down, and they will not, as Beckham was the intended receiver. And now Bakari Rambo is down as we hit the 2-minute warning. Get apps, videos, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. Just under 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. Giants leading the Bills 16-3. Buffalo, 3rd highest team in the league coming into this game, averaging over 33 points per game. They've been held to 3. End over end kick taken at the 22 by Thigpen. He is met by Jonathan Casillas yet again. We take a look at what's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, the Dolphins have a tough time across the pond in London. The Falcons try to stay perfect against the Texans, and the Raiders go for 3 in a row. Highlights and more coming up on the Halftime Show, which will be ad-libbed, unlike this promo.
Never knew Kurt relied on a telestrator.
All the secrets are out.
We look forward to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt and the gang. Terry Bradshaw spending some time here at Orchard Park earlier this week with Bills head coach Rex Ryan.
Very impressed with Rex's weight loss. I had forgotten that he had done the running of the Bulls.
Right. Now he's running the Bills.
That was not playing people.
No.
I just kind of stepped into that one, I think.
2nd and 5. Here's Taylor. Complete to Clay. Just shy of the first down marker, so it will be 3rd down at about a half yard.
See if they can convert here and take advantage of the fact that the Giants weren't able to convert and left them time enough to get points for the Bills.
Taylor on the sneak. Does not look like he made it to the 35.
Tyrod Taylor on the quarterback sneak.
I think Tom Coughlin had signaled for a timeout on this. He is definitely short on that.
Clock continues to run.
Play clock's at 12. They're just trying to draw the Giants off sides here.
4th and inches. And there's the movement. False start.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
The 9th Buffalo penalty in this first half. The left tackle, Quanjo.
Confirmation for the Bills.
In that situation, the play clock and the game clock kind of out of sync. So if they don't convert that, the Giants are going to get that ball right there. So I think the Bills are trying to draw the Giants offside, get that free set of downs from the penalty that would go against them. Talking now about the 10-second runoff because it did stop the clock inside 1 minute.
Giants can decline since they are getting the ball back.
Buffalo has elected to take a 10-second runoff. By rule, the New York Giants have chosen to decline that, so we will give Buffalo their timeout back. 4th down.
So the Giants will keep the 24 seconds on the clock. The other issue is right there. Ruben Randall back deep because the Giants lost Dwayne Harris moments ago. punting for the 6th time today. Bearcat signal. Randall lets it bounce. Takes a Bills roll inside the 20. Inside the 15. With 11 seconds remaining, down to Laura.
Kenny, a quick update on Dwayne Harris. He is in the locker room. He was taken in early. The good news is for a team who can't afford to miss another receiver, his return is probable. They took him in to look at ribs. He has a rib injury, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Laura. So Manning and the Giants offense back out. 11 seconds remaining. Giants have led at the half in each of their first 3 games, of course. Could not hold their double-digit leads in the fourth quarter against Dallas and Atlanta. But they lead by 13 heading into the locker room at halftime. 9 penalties committed by Rex Ryan's Bills. An interception which led to a touchdown. Bills only 78 yards of offense, only 2 first downs. So it's the Giants 16 of the Bills 3. The Visa halftime report is coming up. We get set for the third quarter at Orchard Park. Giants over the Bills 16-3. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. 4th NFL start for Tyrod Taylor. Eli Manning with a couple of touchdown passes to Dwayne Harris and Ruben Randall. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. We welcome you back. Kenny Albert along with Darryl Johnston. And for the Bills, similar to their game against the Patriots 2 weeks ago, penalties, mistakes. The 1 turnover led to a Giants touchdown. 9 Buffalo penalties in the first half.
And Rex Ryan talked to us about the fact that it really wasn't a bounce-back game against the Dolphins. It was a continuation from that fourth quarter against the Patriots. So they've got to go back and find that fourth quarter magic, because this is very similar to what we saw in that game. And rule number 1 in the game of football, don't beat yourself. And right now the Buffalo Bills are making it so hard on themselves. But credit the New York Giants and what they did. They were trying to move the ball through the air. This is a very talented Buffalo Bills front. And all of a sudden, late in that first quarter, early second quarter, they start going to that run game. And that was really kind of the difference there in the first half.
Look at the first half numbers. Giants with a balanced attack. Bills only 78 yards of offense, only 2 first downs. A turnover which led to the Giants' first touchdown, and 9 Buffalo penalties. Shane Vereen is back deep. Trevor Harris was injured late in the second quarter. As we head down to the field and check in with Laura.
Kenny, Darryl was just talking about how upset Rex Ryan must be. Yes, he is. I can't repeat most of what he said to me at halftime. I can just tell you the big thing: stop penalties, start running, get the run game going. He was happy with how they'd stopped them in terms of they were just 3, the Giants offense 3 for 8, but he said doesn't help if we get to them and then we take ourselves right out. As for Coughlin, I asked him about the rhythm. He said that's the most important thing. We just need rhythm. He said that they've done a great job getting set, but we need to come out and do it even faster. But this is one guy not comfortable with this first half lead. Big message in the halftime: go faster at the finish line. Kenny?
Thanks, Laura. Giants start from the 20. Play action on first down. Manning rolling right. He throws, and the catch is made for a first down by the tight end, Donnell, out to the 36. Gain of 16.
He's going to be coming from the offensive left side, cross that entire field on that second level. Has a step on Corey Graham from the start.
And Graham remains down. Bills free safety shaken up on the play.
He came down hard on that shoulder and actually that head as well. You can see it kind of working. Hopefully he just had the wind knocked out of him.
He's a Buffalo native, former Chicago Bear and Baltimore Raven.
Trying to reach out and deflect that. You're going to watch as he lands right here. All that weight comes down on that shoulder, on that arm, that rib area.
And Donnell came down on his head as well. Larry Donnell, now the Giants' leading receiver today with 4 catches, as the Bills medical staff continues to work on Corey Graham.
On Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Burger King. Kick off fall with a new Oreo Pumpkin Spice Shake. By Chevrolet. Find new roads. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Fans on their feet here at Orchard Park, trying to spur on the Bills, who trail by 13. On first down, Rashad Jennings out across the 45, and he looks to have another Giants first down.
They're just having a lot of success in this run game, and it's not pretty. The guys are pushing, and all of a sudden they're popping out into some space.
Now Jennings split wide to the left. Empty backfield on 1st and 10 from the 46. Manning to the outside, and the catch is made by Beckham for a first down and more. Fourth catch of the game for Odell Beckham Jr., and he takes it into Buffalo Bills territory.
Eli Manning told us about his ability to stop, one of the unique things, but what I'm impressed with every time I see Odell Beckham Jr. play is his acceleration. When he gets the ball and he decides to go, he really starts to separate from anybody close.
Stepped out of bounds at the 45-yard line, second down and 1. There's Corey Graham back on the field, shaken up moments ago. And looking for the tight end, that's Will Tye, activated yesterday. Fells and Cunningham both out today, and Tye unable to make his first NFL catch.
Didn't look like he took his eyes off it. Sometimes when you see one like that, sometimes the receiver is looking downfield before he secures the catch, but it looked like Will Tye had that looked all the way in.
3 years at Florida State, transferred to Stony Brook, now a New York Giant. Third down and 1. Play clock at 3, Tye shifting, and Manning calls timeout. Giants use their first timeout of the second half. Well, it's the final day of the baseball regular season. The New York Yankees are back in the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. If they win the wild card game on Tuesday, they would advance to the American League Division Series, along with the Red Hot Blue Jays and Rangers, defending AL champion Royals. Our exclusive coverage of the ALDS begins Thursday only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Kansas City and Toronto battling for home field. Second wild card in the American League, not yet set. Third down and 1. And the fullback Whitlock is stopped. Marcel Darius, the first Bill, in on the tackle.
Now you get a lot of talk about the pressure that this defensive front can put on a quarterback, but you got a couple of big bodies down there inside. Marcel Darius, Kyle Williams, it's tough to move them, and they just stood up everything. There was nowhere to run on that play. And that makes that drop by Will Tye even bigger right now, because you have an opportunity to catch and convert a first down and continue to move down the field in the Bills' territory.
Andre Williams stopped on third down. Giants will punt it away. Wing from his 43. Big pen. Fair catch called for back at the 6. So the Bills are pinned deep early. Third quarter, they trail by 13. Well, Dow, you return to your roots this weekend, coming back to the Buffalo area. Newport High School, number 34, is retired. And as a Super Bowl participant, as we look ahead to Super Bowl 50, you have the opportunity to present a commemorative Wilson Golden football to the high school program at Newport.
Yeah, the game couldn't have timed out any better for me. It was homecoming weekend, a big victory over Tonawanda, and the first gentleman that was there with the gold football was Dave Adelizi. That was my first football coach ever when I was 8 years old in third grade, and he was there that evening.
And then you had the opportunity to watch a couple of your nephews, Donald and Michael, represent your high school on the football field that night in the 46-12 victory. Donald with a couple of touchdown passes, and he ran for another as Carlos Williams Takes it out to the 6-yard line. Time for a game break. Mike Hill, Mike.
Hey, remember how I was saying the Eagles were struggling? Well, not anymore against the Skins. Sam Bradford making it happen, avoiding the rush, finds Brent Selleck for the 10-yard score. And just like that, we're tied at 13 in the third. Kenny, moves back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Giants lead this one 16-3. On second down at 11, Taylor dumps it off. And making the catch, hanging on, taking it out to the 8-yard line is the tight end, Marquise Gray, his first catch of the season.
Very fortunate to still have possession of this because this one pops up with a lot of bodies around. Marquise Gray is able to secure that thing finally. Usually you don't get more than one touch in the NFL. You don't get that secured right away. Somebody's taking it from you.
Spagnuolo's defense has allowed only one third down conversion today. Third down at 9. Taylor in trouble. There is a flag. He stays on his feet. If that's holding in the end zone, it'll be 2 points for the Giants. And now another flag is thrown.
Well, that's a heck of an effort to get out of there and get on the edge, create a difficult situation for the Giants defense. Do you come up and defend Tyrod Taylor? You leave Charles Clay. And Charles Clay has a critical drop again. Been a tough day catching the football for the Buffalo Bills. The routes have been short of first down yardage, couple of drops.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the offense. Holding, number 60. That penalty is declined. Illegal forward pass on the offense beyond the line of scrimmage, number 5. Half the distance to the goal. That penalty carries a loss of down, 4th down.
Now the question is, where did the hold take place?
Yeah, obviously not in the end zone. So here's your center right here. We'll keep an eye on him as this goes on. That's where your hold was. Or I'm sorry, the guard 60. So there's your pressure in the end zone, but he avoids that. Now the 7-yard line is the first down marker. That was the line of scrimmage, the 7.
Right guard Craig Urbit was caught holding, and then Taylor crossed the line of scrimmage. So it's been a busy day for Colton Schmidt. He will punt out of his end zone. His 7th punt today, and good news for the Giants. Wayne Harris back deep for the return. Wow. Harris forced all the way back to the 30. Oh, big hit at the 47-yard line. Made by Ron Brooks. 65-yard punt by Colton Schmidt, and then 17 on the return.
Nice job by Ron Brooks. He's got the sideline as a teammate right here. Knows Dwayne Harris is going to go back inside. That's about as good as you can do it.
Harris has taken a couple of hard hits today. One from Bakari Rambo earlier. But it sets up terrific field position for the Giants. From their 47-yard line, early third quarter in Orchard Park. Dane Vereen in the backfield. Off the fake to Beckham. Manning dumps it off to Vereen on the screen, and he has a first down and more. Vereen finally tackled inside the 30-yard line.
I want you to see the impact of just the little flip fake by Eli Manning. So as you're going to come around this way.
The receiver, number 74 of the offense, was downfield prior to the pass. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You see Jeff Schwartz, the veteran right guard, ineligible receiver downfield.
Now you've got to understand that play is going to take a while to develop. It was well designed. You had everybody in the Bills front chasing that little end around fake. And just get your timing down. You know, understand, get that clock in your head, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, then release.
Now for the Giants, Darryl, it's their first penalty since the first quarter. The Bills had committed the last 8. It erases a 27-yard catch and run by Vereen. Play clock at 1. And the Giants did not get the play off in time.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
No penalty since the first quarter, and now 2 on back-to-back plays.
And that's the second time today we've had that delayed game after there was a penalty enforcement prior to it. The Giant offense not ready to get the play call to transfer that to the line of scrimmage.
It is now first down at 20. This is Vereen. Down across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
You come out and you have that successful play on your first down call. It's something you've worked on because you're going to take advantage of that Bills front. You don't execute it, and now you go backwards, and now the crowd is coming back into this game, making it difficult for you.
Second down and 16. And he steps up, wrapped up. Down he goes. Corey Graham bursting through from the free safety spot.
He had a guy come free from the outside, Corey Graham. He's going to run all the way around here. Going to get number 20 coming in from the outside. Up to the top, flushes him out. But what Eli Manning doesn't do, he's got 2 hands on the ball in the pocket. He doesn't force anything. Don't give him that critical turnover.
First sack of the game on either side. On 3rd and 17, Giants keep it on the ground with Vereen, who gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Giants hurt by penalties on this possession as we head west to Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, follow the bouncing ball in Tampa. Maybe that helps out Carolina's Jonathan Stewart. Ball goes up, but Ed Dixon's there to recover it. And the big man takes it all the way, 57 yards for a score. Carolina on top of the Bucs, 24-10. Kenny Moose Laura.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Here's Brad Wing. Waiting back at his 33-yard line. Big pen deep for the Bills. Hand over end kick, and a fair catch is called for the Bills. Again, pinned deep. They trail by 13. The Giants unable to get much going on their last drive due to a couple of penalties and a sack.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Buffalo Bills unable to get much going on offense today. Start from inside their 10 for the 4th time in the game. Taylor rolling right, dumps it off, and again Clay unable to hang on.
Yeah, but Tyrod Taylor's got to give him a better pass on that one. You want to be able to hit that in stride, allow your receiver to turn and square his shoulders upfield. It's a bootleg out the backside. That's back hip, not even back hip, back knee. So you're reversing out, down low. You know, put that ball up in his chest so he can turn and get ready to turn upfield.
Hey, boys!
Bills offense averaging over 33 points per game over their first 3. Held in check to this point. 2 first downs, fewer than 80 yards of offense. As Taylor throws, and this time Clay able to make the catch for a first down.
Well, they needed something big. The New York Giants have had them bottled up deep in their end the entire time. Going to come off the line of that traditional tight end spot. Just going to get up. You're going to break to the outside as Robert Woods goes deep.
21-yard connection. That's the longest play of the day for the Bills on offense. From the 31 on first down. Taylor to the near side, complete to Percy Harvin.
But he's thrown a couple of nice timing routes on the outside during the course of the afternoon. Looks like Greg Roman right now, hey, you know what? What we've been doing up to this point hasn't been working real well. Let's see what Tyrod Taylor can do just in some straight-out passing game scenarios right here.
On 2nd and 2. This is Williams. And he is stopped short of the first down marker. It will be 3rd down and 1. This season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Giants offensive lineman George Selvey, calf injury. His return is probable as the Giants shuffle in personnel. 3rd down and 1. This is Williams. And he picks up a first down. So the Bills had only 2 first downs all day until this drive. And now they've doubled that total.
A good pad level there on that 3rd and short yardage situation. He's earning everything he's getting today. Not a lot of room to run for Carlos Williams.
Then if you joined us late, no LaShawn McCoy, no Sammy Watkins for the Bills. They set it down. Mulligan in motion from the 43-yard line. This is Williams. Made it 4 down to the 47. We talked about 4th quarters in our open. Bills had a good one against New England after falling behind. And for the Giants, not able to finish in the 4th quarter in each of their first 2 games. Wind down under 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Taylor on 2nd and 6, looking for Harvin, who's unable to make the catch. There is a flag. Mosley on the coverage.
Jaron Mosley is not going to get his head around. Watch 28 in this situation. He's going to get his hands up, but he's going to make contact without getting his head around to track the ball.
Automatic. First down.
You're right, Darrell. He was not looking up at the ball. So another first down for the Bills. They gained 28 yards on the penalty. First and 10 from the Giants' 26. Movement prior to the snap.
Full start. Offense number 48. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Marquise Gray.
It's amazing to me. We talk about momentum. We talk about rhythm during the course of the game. This is a great example. An offense that's really kind of floundered out there all afternoon up until this drive. And then all of a sudden they start to hit their strides. One of the big things they've done is keep that negative play out. We'll see how they do here in this 1st and 15 situation now, because the penalties have been the things that have derailed the Bills more than anything during the course of the afternoon.
11 in all. From the 31. First down at 15. Taylor moving to his right. There's another flag. As Tyrod Taylor is still on his feet. And he will take it all the way down towards the goal line. No signal yet. It's a touchdown. But remember, there was a flag thrown at the beginning of the play.
Holding. Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Craig Urbick again, the 12th Buffalo penalty.
Well, boy, he's going to be in that bottom corner of your screen, number 60, working against Jay Bromley. You know, you see a lot worse than that, but here's what it takes away. Just a great individual effort by Tyrod Taylor, working that sideline, getting in for the touchdown. So again, the penalties today for the Bills have just been unbelievably devastating.
Now forced back to the 41-yard line. As Taylor throws, and a good play made by the rookie out of Alabama, Landon Collins. And Darrell, Rex Ryan challenged his team to be the least penalized team in the National Football League this season, as we take another look at the play by Collins.
Well, trying to bounce back from that debacle against New England, you know, hey, moving forward, we want to be the least penalized team in the NFL from this point on. And they were good against Miami last week, but they're right back to it again. Sometimes it's emotion, sometimes it's technique, sometimes they're touchy calls. You have questionable calls during the course of the game, but if you commit a ton of penalties, they're going to go against you the majority of the time.
On 2nd and 25, this is Hogan. And Chris Hogan takes it down inside the 30. So it will be 3rd down and about 7 for the Bills. Ball spotted at the 28.
Huge snap right here for this team to bounce back, to have the touchdown taken away by the penalty, and be able to convert this 3rd down and not have to kick the field goal or attempt the field goal.
This is the Bills' longest drive today as far as plays. 9th play of the drive for Buffalo. Taylor throws, and it's Robert Woods who makes the catch. His first today for a Bills first down. Needed 12, and he gained 13.
Well, early in the game, we saw a lot of routes being run by Bills receivers that were short of the first down marker. On this one, Robert Woods gets beyond it so he can work back and still have the necessary yardage for the first down. Good job by protection. The offensive line coordinated with the running backs and tight ends. The Giants came with a blitz on that one, and they gave Tyrod Taylor a ton of time.
4 first downs on this drive, which started way back at the 10.
12 men on defense in the formation. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So now it's the Giants who are flagged. 12 men in the formation.
Those are the ones that'll drive Tom Coughlin crazy. Unacceptable. 12-man, delay of games, things like that. Some of the things that they've dealt with here, where they're in your control, completely in your control. You should know what personnel group you are in when you're entering the field.
First trip into the red zone for the Bills offense today. From the 11, off the fake to Williams. Taylor looking end zone. He throws. Pass intended for Marcus Easley.
He's been in the pocket the majority of this drive, so let's move it this time. Let's put him out on the edge. Little fake of the zone read right there to Carlos Williams. He comes out. Good job by the Giants defense. Landon Collins comes up, kind of forces that throw a little bit early. Little stumble by Marcus Easley, or he's right there for the catch.
Hey, Mike 47, 1.
A 2nd and 5, 3 receivers to the right. Handoff for Williams, and he is met in the backfield. First by Tremaine McBride.
That's the right defense called at the exact right time. You're just going to come up here and you're going to unblocked. Chris Hogan can't get in and get inside without having a clip right there. Little body English to get him on the ground.
First McBride, and then he was finished off by Kerry Wynn. 3rd down and 12. Taylor hits Harvin. Well, Harvin is met by a swarming Giants defensive unit.
Really nice hustle by Kerry Wynn. One of your down linemen inside. That ball comes out quick. He turns and runs to the play because they had some numbers on the outside. Watch Kerry Wynn from the inside come out. 72, he recognizes it, gets down the field. He's the one who's able to force that play to stop right there.
So the Bills send out the field goal unit and Dan Carpenter for a 30-yard attempt. Bills drove 78 yards. Started at their own 10, but they are kept out of the end zone. From the left hash, Carpenter's kick is no good, wide to the left. So the Bills come away with nothing following a 78-yard drive. They continue to trail Tom Coughlin's Giants by 13. Giants take over following the missed field goal. Eli Manning with a couple of first-half touchdown passes, one to Dwayne Harris, the other to Reuben Randall.
Hold on. Let's go.
Giants start from their 20-yard line. Just over 2 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. As Manning fires, intended for Donnell. Darby with the big hit.
He is a good player. For a rookie in the NFL playing the cornerback position, he has a lot of confidence in his preparation. He trusts his instincts. Eli Manning trying to get into the right play, checking out of it, doesn't like what he sees. So this is a play that he thinks has a good chance to be successful, and Ronald Darby just jumps that slant route.
Darby, the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month for September. And what a play here made by the four-time Pro Bowler, Mario Williams, bringing down Rashad Jennings for a loss.
Well, number one, I wouldn't recommend running at Mario Williams, and number two, if you decide to do that, you should probably block him. There's nobody there. That's unbelievable.
Loss of 3. Third down and 13. More flags. Ball start, Giants.
Full start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Left tackle Eric Flowers.
Jerry Hughes will do that to you. He's got a great first step, speed off the edge.
Giants ninth penalty. Got a look at Carpenter, who missed the field goal moments ago. Third down and 18. Giants must get to the 30 for a first down. And Harris will not. Corey Graham makes the tackle. Giants will punt.
Good response by the Bills defense. A really nice drive by their offense on that previous series. Ends up with 0 points. Going to adjust the hot to the outside, but this defense had a really nice series there. Some negative plays. Good pressure on that third and long, forcing the hot read. And Corey Graham comes up and makes the tackle.
Brad Wing waiting at the goal line. Punting for the 7th time today. Thigpen back deep for the Bills. End over end kick. Moving to his right. Thigpen takes it at the 37. 10 yards on the return. Late third quarter. Good field position for the Bills following the nice stand by their defense. 21 seconds remaining, third quarter at Orchard Park. Look at what the Bills were able to do on their last drive, but came away with nothing. From the 47, play action on first down. Taylor fires and the catch is made by Clay at the Giants 33, 20-yard completion.
Yeah, that's been their most successful play this afternoon. We've seen it several times, and it's Charles Clay getting up inside, working against the linebacker, running that corner route. That's a mismatch right there for the Buffalo Bills.
Charles Clay, 4 years in Miami, signed a 5-year deal with the Bills. Scored a touchdown each of the last 2 games. Third quarter comes to an end. We've talked about the fourth quarter from both teams' perspective. Coming up next. Instead of holding up 4 fingers to signify the start of the fourth quarter, Tom Coughlin telling us yesterday, Giants now holding up 1 finger, which means take it to another level in the fourth. Giants with their defense on the field. This is Williams, and he's wrapped up by Kerry Wynn initially, and then a trio of his teammates, and it's been well documented the Giants' struggles in the fourth quarter as Seantrell Henderson is slow to get up. The Bills right tackle. Giants with 10-point leads in each of their first 2 games in the fourth over the Cowboys and the Falcons. They became the first team in NFL history to lose their first 2 games after holding a 10-point lead in the final quarter.
And don't think the Buffalo Bills are not well aware of this. And this game has been more like the Bills versus the Patriots than the Bills versus the Colts or the Dolphins. And in that game, the Buffalo Bills hung in there and were able to come back and score 19 points in the fourth quarter, give themselves an opportunity to tie that game in their final possession. 75% of the games go into the fourth quarter very, very tight. Let's see if the Giants have figured this thing out.
going up against the Bills, who lead the league in fourth quarter scoring. And the Giants have allowed the most points in the fourth. On 2nd and 13, Taylor to a wide open Clay. Charles Clay makes the catch for a Bills first down, a 27-yard completion.
Well, he's been the best receiver on the Bills offense today, and it's been this route, whether from that side of the formation, the close side, or the away side. It's dragging Charles Clay across the field into that void area, that's that intermediate level, and the Giants have had no answer for it all afternoon.
The 6th catch of the day, longest play of the day for the Bills offense. First and goal from the 9-yard line. Taken down to the 5 by Carlos Williams for a gain of 4.
And the Giants really controlled the entire third quarter. They were forcing the Bills to start inside their 10-yard line on every series, and the Bills defense flipped the field on them right before that fourth quarter, which in this situation now, you've got that short field coming in at the start of the quarter. You've got all those negative thoughts in your head. This defense has got to make one of those stances that John Beeson told us about. They've got to make a 4-point play. They've got to force a field goal attempt in this situation and not allow a touchdown.
Right, 4-point play, 3 instead of 7. 2nd and goal from the 5. Off the fake to Williams. Complete to Robert Woods. And he is hit hard, knocked out of bounds by Landon Collins. Ball will be spotted just inside the 3.
Now you know why the Giants moved up to grab Landon Collins. He covers a ton of ground on this play from his deep safety position. Robert Woods has everybody outflanked. 21 closes the gap very quickly.
So now 3rd and goal from the 2.5-yard line. Marvin split to the right. Hogan slot to the right. Woods split to the left. Play clock winding down. Taylor rolling right. Looks to take it himself, but Kerry Wynn able to knock him out of bounds after the initial contact from Wani Unga.
That's great hustle by Wani Unga, 47. Watch the effort right here. I didn't think he was going to be able to get there to get the hit on Tyrod Taylor. Carlos Williams has him shielded off. All he's got to do is spin his hips, and he's got a wall created. He's not going to be able to get through. Great effort by Wani Unga on that play.
So it is now 4th and goal from the 1.5-yard line. The fullback Felton has checked in. Taylor swinging it out, and Williams is stopped by the combination of J.T. Thomas and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. 2 consecutive trips into the red zone for the Bills offense. They come away with no points.
Is sponsored by Xbox One, the official game console of the NFL. By DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. And by the Quesarito and Volcano Quesarito Big Boxes. Grab them at Taco Bell.
Giants defense coming up big on 4th down.
Huge by that Giants defense. Excellent pursuit from the inside out on 3 consecutive plays. All 3 looked like they had a shot at the beginning, but credit that Giants defense.
They hold the Bills off the scoreboard yet again. Giants start from their 2. Andre Williams giving the Giants some breathing room.
So that 4th down play was going to be one of these pick plays where make people run a bubble. Jerome Felton's going to come in. He's supposed to wall off right here. You want to isolate Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie in a one-on-one situation. He flows too high. J.T. Thomas comes right underneath him, actually gives him a better angle to get up the field and make that stop.
So the Bills gain 101 yards on their last 2 drives inside the red zone twice. Come away with nothing at this field goal, and it's stopped by the Giants on 4th down as Williams gets wrapped up at the 6-yard line. So the Giants now Facing a 3rd down and 6. Early 4th quarter here in Orchard Park.
And a lot to consider for that Bills offense on that last 4th down call. You know the Giants are concerned about their 4th quarter performance. I think you take the field goal, go 16-6 at that point, not allow them to have anything positive like they gained with all that momentum stopping that 4th down call.
Manning fires downfield looking for Beckham, who attempts to make the one-handed catch. But he was ruled out of bounds, unable to come up with it.
Working on the outside at the bottom of the screen. He came away with the football in his hand. Does he keep this? Does he possess this? He's just out of bounds. But does he make that catch again? You have got to be kidding me. God, this kid is amazing. Good thing there's no style points in the NFL, Ken. I had to give him 8 for that, give him the 1st down.
The beast. So here is Wing punching out of his end zone once again. There's Thigpen in Giants territory. For the Giants, 43, Zach DeOssie the tackle. It goes in the books as an incompletion, but we have to give you one more look. 10.5 to play. Giants with a 13-point lead. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman. Bills have put together 2 excellent drives, 78 and 52 yards, but have not come away with points. A missed field goal, and they were stopped by the Giants on 4th and goal.
But credit their defense on that last series, and maybe that's some of the thought process for Rex Ryan going for it in that 4th down situation. My defense will make a stop here. We'll get good field position for my offense to start the next drive.
And the Bills start from the Giants 43, their best starting field position today. Taylor on 1st down, complete to Hogan. And he takes it inside the Giants 30 as we check in with Laura.
You guys have been talking about how Coughlin has been so diligent with that, take it to another level. He told us he was continuous, persistent, and harping that message last night, also at halftime. That last drive, after the defense came off, listening to them go up and down the bench screaming, think you're done, give more, Kenny.
Thanks, Laura. Here's Taylor. Taylor stays on his feet and is finally knocked out of bounds by Brandon Merriweather. Good second effort. He gained 7.
And you really kind of have to close the door on that issue, or it's going to be something that everybody talks about week after week. And even though they beat the Redskins the last time out, their 4th quarter performance was not that great.
Redskins scored 15.
More than Dallas or Atlanta.
Right. Giants held down for the win. They had the big lead. Taylor throws to the end zone. It's Carlos Williams for a Bills touchdown.
Right on that red zone fringe area, and Greg Roman takes a shot. If you can score from outside the 20, why not do it? It gets hard when you get down in there to move the ball. We saw that on their last series as they turned it over on downs. Trying to find that matchup. You get Carlos Williams. Going to run a little wheel route, go to the flat, get the linebacker to bite, and then turn it up. You've got him out leveraged right there. And I tell you what, Tyrod Taylor does have a nice touch on that deep ball down the side.
Carpenter adds the extra point. The Bills pull to within 6. Williams with a touchdown in each of his first 4 NFL games.
Sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Buffalo Bills have pulled to within 1 score. There's Carlos Williams. Touchdown in each of his first 4 NFL games. Bills go 43 yards in only 3 plays. So the tide has turned. The Giants in the second half, Darryl. Only 3 first downs, 3 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Momentum shifts. You've got to strike when you have that momentum, and the Giants didn't really separate when things were going that way. They controlled the field position the entire 3rd quarter. We're not able to take advantage of that.
The ball stays out of the end zone, so Vereen is forced to run with it. And he does a terrific job. Gets out across the 25 after some hesitation as to whether or not it would bounce into the end zone. So for the Giants, it's been a major story. Fourth quarters, record of 1-2. They had a 13-point lead. Their defense does stop the Bills on 4th and goal, but then they allow a touchdown.
And Tom Coughlin really doesn't know how to speak about this anymore. I mean, how many times can you talk about finish to your team? Eventually, they've just got to go out and do it, and it looked like today was going to have an opportunity for that. What a great job by the Bills, that transition right there. Their defense did a tremendous job stopping the Giants without getting a first down, giving the offense another short field to get that touchdown as quick as they did.
And look at the scores. They actually led Dallas by 10 in the fourth quarter in their opening game. As Manning throws over the top, it's Beckham for a gain of 4 as we head to Los Angeles. Check in with Kurt.
And to keep it interesting in the NFC East, the Eagles have come back against Washington. Sam Bradford hooking up with Miles Austin. 39-yard score, once down 13-0. They now lead it in the fourth quarter, 2016. Didn't lose them long.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Big comeback by the Eagles in this wild and wacky NFC East. Second down and 6. Manning to the near side to the tight end, Donnell. And Larry Donnell picks up a Giants first down out across the 40.
And trust me, there's some conversations that go on during the course of the game on the field, and the Buffalo Bills players will reinforce that doubt to the Giants about their performance in the fourth quarter.
2 set of downs for the Giants. From the 42. The late handoff to Rashad Jennings. Jerry Hughes the tackle, gain of 7. And when we spoke with Tom Coughlin yesterday about finishing, he says sometimes you try and find another word for it. He said to the team, in a race, you run harder at the end than at the beginning. Trying to do anything to turn around the Giants' fortunes in the fourth quarter. Second down and 3. Clock hits, 8 minutes remaining. Manning with time, he throws. Pass intended for Randall, nice play by Gilmore.
Really nice play by Stephon Gilmore. That was really tight coverage, played it well. Gets a hand up there to knock it away.
Giants again, quick to the line on 3rd down. Third down and 3. Jennings, good second effort, puts up a first down and more. Down the sidelines, Rashad Jennings still on his feet, and he takes it all the way in for a Giants touchdown. 51 yards. Odell Beckham Jr. shaken up. So is Bakari Rambo of the Bills.
Are they going to allow Jerry Hughes to come free? You're going to slip Rashad Jennings out. And the reason you're doing that is because you're going to have Nigel Bradham pull out. He's responsible for this. So blitz off the edge. Linebacker comes out in coverage. Just make the tackle. And you don't. You make that tackle, it's a 3-yard gain.
Terrific effort by Jennings. As we take another look, there's Rambo who goes down, and then Beckham over top. Giants keep the offense on the field. They will go for 2 for the first time this season. To look at Rambo and Beckham. That's Bakari Rambo helped off the field, and a big sigh of relief as far as the Giants and their coaching staff and fans are concerned as Beckham remains out on the field.
My 2 worst concussions playing were knees to the side of the head, kind of that inadvertent hit during the course of the game, and this is what Bakari Rambo gets right here as Odell Beckham Jr. sprinting across the field trying to help his teammate out as he goes across, kind of knees Bakari Rambo on the side of the head.
First career receiving touchdown for Rashad Jennings. Giants for the first time this season going for 2, which would give them a 14-point lead should they convert. Beckham slot to the right. Manning handing it off to Andre Williams, and he is in for the 2-point conversion. Giants lead by 14.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown again. It's a great adjustment by Eli Manning to get into this play, and we'll do the key players first. Jerry Hughes here, he's going to be coming up the field on pressure, and then you're going to have Rashad Jennings going out. Now it's up to Nigel Bradham right there just to make that tackle. He's going to make it short of the first down markers. It's going to be no gain, and you're going to put the Giants in a tough spot. Are we going to go for this on 4th and 2? And all of a sudden, Rashad Jennings just makes a play. And sometimes it's about a guy making a play. Plants his foot, gets back inside. A great job to get all the way down to the end zone. And let me tell you what, I mean, after the Bills come right down the field and close that gap with that quick drive, the long throw to Carlos Williams, those seeds of doubt start to creep into all these Giant fans. Oh boy, here we go again. That was a great individual effort by Rashad Jennings on that play.
Giants answer in under 2 minutes following the Bills touchdown. You talked about making a play, and Rashad Jennings of the Giants last game blocks a punt, goes for a safety early in the game. He makes a play on special teams, and now a big play on offense.
That's a huge play. Just a huge play. And it's one of the things that Eli Manning talked to us about in the second year. Where do you think your biggest progress has been? And he said, you know, going from the play that was called in the huddle at the line of scrimmage when I want to check out, checking to the appropriate play that kind of coincides with that. He goes, and sometimes last season I was an absolute mess. You know, I'd call the wrong check that didn't go with the play we called in the huddle, and I confused some of our guys. I think he feels very, very comfortable. There's a great example right there, him changing to an awesome play in that situation, understanding what that defense was, knowing he's going to get his running back one-on-one.
And he's so much more comfortable with Ben McAdoo in year 2. He says, now I only have to hear the beginning of the call from Ben. Last year I needed to hear the entire play call.
And there they are together on the side right now dissecting that. So, you know, it happens from year 1 to year 2. You know, you find your way through there that first year. A lot of the things that Ben McAdoo was teaching Eli Manning were very different. He talked about his footwork and the timing and different things from just a technical standpoint. But now, with all these checks at the line of scrimmage, he really has a grasp to the point where he gets into the right check.
And now, Tyrod Taylor and the Bills, trailing by 14, will start from their 20-yard line. On the screen, it did not fool the Giants. You mentioned Jonathan Casillas' name on a number of occasions today. The catch made by Sierre Wood, who was just activated from the practice squad on Friday.
Another one of those guys brought in for special teams play, but Jonathan Casillas right there showing you inside out from the linebacker position. We've seen that a lot today. Great pursuit by the Giants.
On 2nd and 15, Taylor in trouble. He spins away. Can't find anyone downfield. And is out of bounds at the 20-yard line, a gain of 5.
But you watch him spin out. Watch his eyes. I mean, he's going to spin, avoid the pressure, get to the outside, and he's downfield. He's trying to find somewhere to go with the football. He's just not pulling it down and running. Your big plays in that situation, more times than not, are going to come from the throw after the scramble as opposed to the quarterback run.
Third down and 11. Bills must get to the 30. Taylor sets, he throws, and the catch is made by Robert Woods for a Buffalo Bills first down. And the ball came loose. It's picked up by Amukamara. Prince Amukamara is inside the 45 to the 40. Second Buffalo turnover as Woods coughed it up.
Boy, as soon as he makes the catch, the Giant defenders just attack the ball.
Recovered by the defense. First down.
Robert Woods runs a great route. The ball is delivered on time. Watch this. He's going to get Prince Amukamara to just keep running. Watch the break. Stops on a dime, comes back, makes the catch. Now watch, he and Landon Collins attack this football. Looks like he's got it taken care of pretty good. He's continuing to work, so it's not forward progress. That ball comes out.
Collins and Amukamara both trying to strip it, and Amukamara did just that.
He's continuing to move forward down the field, so progress shouldn't be a question here.
All turnovers are reviewed. John Hussey has received word. Ball on the field stands. Giants capitalized on the first Bills turnover.
Under down.
In the first half.
No, just under. 118, right there.
From the Buffalo 40, it is Williams.
Okay, now we talked about complementary football here in the fourth quarter for the New York Giants as another flag comes down. One of the things that the Giants have struggled with offensively is what is referred to as 4-minute offense. In this
After the play
situation,
was over, personal foul, defense number 52, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yet another personal foul. It's Preston Brown.
they just can't continue to do this because they're making it easier for the Giants in this 4-minute phase to burn the clock, and it's one of the things that the Giants have struggled with a little bit. And this is a point of emphasis that was shown to all the players at the beginning of the season. It's just another example of this defense, this team, special teams, defense, losing their composure, too much emotion.
And now another flag has been thrown.
Well, that's where it stands right now, folks, but we'll probably have to add to that here in a second.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55 of the defense. That penalty will be enforced, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's Jerry Hughes, and that will be the 14th Buffalo Bills penalty.
We talked about it before. It's an emotional game, but you've got to be able to control your emotions. You have to play smart along with being emotional. And they're completely off trying to become the least penalized team after the New England game, and they continue to add to their numbers of 15-yard personal fouls.
14 for 103 yards today. Here's Williams, another flag. First-year referee John Hussey has had a busy day.
Have to take a throat lozenge and ice his elbow.
Holding, offense number 73, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And this goes against the Giants. The right tackle Marshall Newhouse.
Number 17, but 73 blocking down. See you right there working on Kyle Williams, hooking and pulling.
So with just under 6 minutes remaining, ball spotted at the 22-yard line. Each team with a touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
Hey, it's 5 here. Touch here.
Giants empty the backfield.
Go.
From the 22-yard line on first down, pass over the middle, caught by Dwayne Harris. Scored the first Giants touchdown, and he takes it all the way down inside the 10.
Nice job understanding the protection up front. You saw Eli Manning again change that play. He knows he's going to have a hot blitzer right into his face, but he's got a solution for that behind him with Dwayne Harris.
Second down and 7 from the Bills' 9-yard line. Jennings. Now Jennings down to the 7-yard line with under 5 minutes remaining.
Well, doing a nice job here on this possession with a lot of help from the Buffalo Bills defense, but put yourself down here where you're really close to getting some points, but again, taking time off the clock, and that's one thing that the offense, as we talk about that complementary football in the fourth quarter, being able to take time off the clock with possessions and not going 3 and out.
3rd down and 5. Giants can pick up a first down at the 2. Play clock winding down. Manning dropped the ball. Timeout. Wasn't granted. So Eli turn with the play clock at 1. Signal timeout. Now some more extracurricular activity as Preston Brown attempts to get it. Odell Beckham Jr. And flags are thrown.
That's just emotion without discipline. And Rex Ryan's not going to be happy with this. His team's really created a lot of their own issues. And you know, you let the clock get all the way down. Here comes that late blitzer. He's coming in. So now you're trying to change again. And you see the clock running down. Now you're going to call timeout. Oh, ball's on the ground now. Now everything just kind of happens.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 52 of the defense. That penalty is half the distance of the goal. Automatic first down.
It's on Brown again, the 15th Bills penalty.
And I'm sure Odell Beckham Jr. said something to Preston Brown because that's who he was going after. But you can't do something that puts your team in a bigger hole. And that's what this Bills team, defense especially, has done all afternoon.
This match is the 3rd most penalties ever committed by the Bills. The franchise record is 19. They did it twice. New set of downs for the Giants. 1st and goal from the 7. On the toss, it's Jennings. Brown throws it out of bounds. Under 4 minutes to play.
Rex is he's got to watch it, or he's going to join some of his players on his team with one. He's outside of the coach's box.
His team has been flagged 15 times in today's game. Manning to the end zone looking for Beckham. Did not come down with it. Darby on the coverage.
He tried to use 2 hands, Kenny.
Was that the problem?
Yeah, just use the one. I think Coach Coughlin's been watching that clock. They have been pushing the limit of the play clock the entire game. So going back to the first quarter, we've seen a couple delays coming off of penalties. So the Giants have been pushing it down to the 1-second zone several times. Tom was going to run down to make sure everything was good there.
Right, 2 delay of game penalties. 3rd and goal. Manning throws. It's picked off by Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore with the interception. First time Eli Manning has thrown an interception. Comes down to the final portion of the 4th quarter in game 4.
Well, you know, you're going to the well a little bit. You got that slant route, and Stephon Gilmore, he's just gonna trust his instincts. You know, you're gonna get slant across the face. Let's see what Ruben Randle does. You know, he's got to get in there and compete for that football. You know, don't leave your quarterback's giving you an opportunity to go in and make a touchdown catch. You know, go battle that defender for that ball. Stephon Gilmore wanted that catch more than Ruben Randle did.
7th career pick for Gilmore.
Boy, there's a big change right there. You go from having everything in your control.
Eli in his 143rd attempt of the season finally throws a pick as Clay makes the catch. He's had a big day. We head to Los Angeles for a game break, and Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey, watch this finish in Washington. Eagles and Skins. Kirk Cousins to Pierre Garçon. Look at that catch by Garçon. 4-yard gain. 23-20 Redskins late in the 4th.
All right, Mike, so the Redskins looking to even their record at 2-2. Giants 1-2 coming into this game as Hogan makes the catch and is hit hard. Again, it's Collins.
Boy, Landon Collins has played a heck of a game today. Coming out of the slot, running the slant. Now he's going to drop in and, you know, kind of exactly what the NFL is looking for when we're talking about tackling. The targeting is down low into that shoulder chest area, fronted up.
300.
Hogan did pick up a first down. Awarded forward progress. Taylor over the middle. It's Williams. Out to the 47. Gain of 7 and a flag as Taylor took a hard hit.
Colin Jenkins making a mistake now, giving 15 more yards.
After discussion, there's no roughing the passer. Number 64 of the offense pushed the defender into the quarterback. Therefore, it's no foul on the play.
See about the push. You know, you're supposed to be in control of your body. We talk about it when the defensive players go down low around the quarterback's knees. I've seen situations like that called. I don't know how much Ricky Incognito affected Colin Jenkins going into Tyrod Taylor.
Taylor pulls the ball down on 2nd and 3. Stays on his feet. And then is knocked out of bounds. Was it a late hit by Colin Jenkins? Bill certainly thinks so. No flag thrown on the play.
Moving around to the outside, coming out to the left side. Let's see where he's at when Colin Jenkins hits him. Hard to see. He's right on that fringe area. Still kind of in the field of play, heading downfield. Lance. That's close.
Like he may have had that 1 foot inbound. 3rd down and 5. Taylor fires downfield. Percy Harvin, the intended receiver.
Now this is one of the throws that the Giants defense talked about, these deep one-on-one go routes on the outside. Percy Harvin has got him beat. He's got Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie beat. And then a little stumble there at the end as they get their feet tied up. That ball's in the right spot. Percy's got a chance for a touchdown. You got to keep that one in the field to play a little bit more.
So the Bills with 2:35 remaining. They need 2 scores.
4 down.
Facing a 4th down and 5. They must get to midfield.
Let's go, girl 54.
Taylor on 4th down. And the catch is made for a first down by Charles Clay in Giants territory. Bills with all 3 of their timeouts move the chains. Now at the Giants 48.
You got to be careful about having those real deep routes in these situations because you got to have your guys get all the way back to the offensive huddle.
Taylor in trouble. There's a flag. That pressure applied down by the fullback who also plays on defense for the Giants, Nikita Whitlock.
He's a great story. 3-time All-ACC defensive player.
Holding, number 64 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on the left guard, Richie Incognito.
And brought in for fullback and special teams, but in his heart and soul, Nikita Whitlock considers himself a defensive tackle, so he gets some reps during the practice week, has had a few opportunities. It's just a fact, you look at him from a measurable standpoint, he's only 5'10", but you can see right there, he can rush a quarterback.
2-minute warning in Orchard Park. New York Giants with a 2-touchdown lead over the Buffalo Bills. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman from Ralph Wilson Stadium in Orchard Park. Bills at 2-1, Giants 1-2. 3 touchdown passes for Eli Manning today. Rex Ryan's Bills have committed 60 penalties. Giants have picked up 7 first downs in the game via penalty alone.
And rule number 1 in football and in any sport is don't beat yourself. And unfortunately for Bills fans this afternoon, they have made it very difficult on themselves. And that's why they find themselves down 14 right here.
Bills with all 3 timeouts. Trail by 14. From the 42-yard line. Tyrod Taylor. Over the top. Giants did a good job stripping the ball away earlier. Try it again there. Boobie Dixon able to hang on. We welcome those of you who have just joined us.
Hey, 54,
Tyrod Taylor fires downfield and finds his man Charles Clay for a Bills first down at the Giants' 32-yard line. Clock continues to run. 1:10 remaining. A 20-yard pass play with the Giants leading by 14. We welcome those of you who just joined us who were watching Carolina and Tampa Bay. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, Laura Oakman from Orchard Park. Taylor to the end zone for Clay, who hangs on for a touchdown. There is a flag, which has been a theme throughout the afternoon.
Personal foul, chop block, number 64, number 77. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So chop blocks are high-lows. So 64 and 77 right here. So you're going to have one player, let's see, while he's engaged, the other player cannot come in and go low. It was initiated in the waist area. You just don't do that. Stay up high.
77 is Cordy Glenn, 64, Richie Incognito. 17th Bills penalty, the 5th personal foul. Backed up to the 47-yard line with 52 seconds remaining. Taylor finds his man, taken down to the 32-yard line by the tight end Chris Gregg. Bills call timeout with 45 seconds remaining. Giants led 16-3 coming into the 4th, and they've blown a couple of fourth quarter leads this season as Carlos Williams stopped on a 4th and goal. Then Eli Manning hitting Rashad Jennings on a 51-yard catch and run. This gave the Giants a 24-10 lead, and then with the Bills on the move, Prince Amukamara takes the ball away from Robert Woods, the second Buffalo turnover today.
And I really like the Rashad Jennings play, the run there, because in between, after that 4th down stand by the Giants defense, the Bills defense came in, forced a 3 and out. They got good field position, hit Carlos Williams on a long touchdown pass there. And the Rashad Jennings run, the effort there, really kind of sealed the deal for the New York Giants.
Taylor with time, over the middle. This is Dixon, he hurdles inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So Boobie Dixon picks up a Buffalo first down as he hurdled over the Giants safety Craig Dahl.
Now, always impressed with the athleticism that we see on the field from some of these big guys. Boobie Dixon right there going up and over Craig Dahl.
Bills have used their second timeout. Too shy of their franchise record. 17 penalties committed by Rex Ryan's Buffalo Bills today. Remember, they were inside the red zone twice earlier in the second half. Came away with nothing. A missed field goal and a stop on 4th down by the Giants defense. Down to 36 seconds remaining. Taylor throws, looking for Dixon. It will be 2nd and 10, 29 seconds on the clock.
Similar to the play they scored on with Carlos Williams on the other side, but Robert Woods is down in that same part of the field with his guy. Got very, very crowded down there near the pylon.
2nd and 10 from the Giants 18. Tyrod Taylor making his 4th NFL start at quarterback today for the Bills. Taylor throws near side. He was looking for Percy Harvin. Great job by our entire crew today, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, our associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marlborough, technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director is Matt Wilson. Dave Corris crunching the numbers with Ricky Camps, and our spotter is Ben Boma. Eli Manning, 3 touchdown passes for the Giants. Dwayne Harris, Reuben Randall, and Rashad Jennings. Taylor from behind and taken down by Damontre Moore. There is a flag.
Yeah, I think Damontre Moore was a little bit early on that.
Offsides, defense number 98. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
11th penalty committed by the Giants today.
Going to be coming in from the right side.
So a combined 28 penalties have been accepted. Down to 21 seconds. Third down and 5. Taylor moving to his right. Down he goes. Ball came loose.
I tell you what, he is relentless. Just think of everything he has to do during the preparation week. He's on special teams. He's on offense, learning the fullback spot. Then he's doing some defensive stuff. They say he never stops on the practice field because he's running scout team for the defense. Then he's running scout team for the offense, trying to get his snaps. Hey, the guy is an absolute pure football player. You tell people all the time, well, he's only 5'10". Yeah, but you can't measure heart. You know, this kid's got to have one of the biggest hearts out there. All he wanted was a shot to play in the NFL, and he finally found a home here in a niche with the New York Giants.
Had an opportunity with the Bengals last year, and then he was in Dallas for about a week on the Cowboys practice squad.
I'll go back and talk to Jason Garrett when I get home.
He's found a home on both sides of the football with the New York Giants.
We talk about football being, 3 phases of the team. Nikita Whitlock plays all 3 phases. How many guys can say that in the NFL today?
America's Game of the Week coming up next. 11 seconds to play. 4th down at 19. Here comes Damontre Moore. Taylor fires to the end zone and through the back of the end zone. 1 second on the clock. So Tom Coughlin's Giants will win for the 2nd time in 4 games, as Eli Manning will tie Phil Simms' franchise record, 101 career victories, including postseason.
And more important, John Beeson talked to us about how crazy the NFC East is right now. You had Washington knock off Philly today. Obviously, the situation's in Dallas with no Tony Romo, no Dez Bryant for the foreseeable future. And hey, why not? Why can't they? Let's take a look at their schedule right there. A lot of winnable games right there. As I said, October 25th, you don't think emotions are going to be high for the Giants in that one? Having lost that opener the way that they did, everybody else has got a losing record. No Tony Romo. Would Dez Bryant be back that time? There's a possibility, but nothing for sure. So this NFC East is absolutely wide open right now, and the Giants have fought back to 2-2 after 2 very, very tough losses to start the year.
They defeated Washington, and now a win in Buffalo as Tom Coughlin and Rex Ryan embrace. Giants win it 24-10 for Darryl Johnston and Laura Oakman. This is Kenny Albert. America's Game of the Week is coming up next.